Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker with two teas that are the same kind of tea. I'm going to put them side by side and kind of compare them. This is the kind of tea that you may hear people talk about. There's lots of different opinions about what is real, authentic Da Hong Pao, which is what this is, or Big Red Robe as it sometimes is translated. I'm going to scoop out enough. I've got smaller guy ones here, which should allow me to put things side by side a little easier. So there's my first one. Wipe off my spoon a little bit so it doesn't get confused with my second one here. I'm going to scoop this out as well. And that looks just a pinch more. Looks about even and fair between the two. Setting those there and adding my water that's been brought to an early boil and it's been sitting for about a minute. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water, enough water so a little bit is going to rest above the rim of my lids. The smaller guy ones, still kind of basic principle of enough tea to cover the bottom surface area of the guy ones there. That looks good. Talking about these teas though and introducing them. These are both, as I said, Da Hong Paos. On my right hand side here I have a Ban Yen Wu Yi medium roasted Da Hong Pao 2011 spring. Again, that was the Ban Yen premium medium roast. On my left hand here, this is also a 2011 spring, but this is Zheng Yen. This is imperial grade rather than the premium grade, but this is also a medium roast, also a Da Hong Pao. So they're both Da Hong Paos. They are both medium roast. The differences is grade, as in premium versus imperial. The differences in Ban Yen and Zheng Yen. Now those two definitions there, pause for just a moment to say, Zheng Yen is kind of the official region. Now you move outside of that into outside of the mountains where the original plants were grown and found, into some of the lower areas, the outlying areas, you get into Ban Yen, the outer limits of that. And these can be kind of more officially defined depending on who you ask and you know where your source of information is. They'll be able to tell you in the greater details as to what constitutes Zheng Yen and Ban Yen and so on. For our purposes, that's enough to talk about for now. Let me go ahead and also say that the Zheng Yen, 15 grams, $5.70 for a 15-gram sample. The Ban Yen, 15 grams, is $4. So a difference of, let us say, $1.70 between these two grades. At the 15-gram level, of course, you get larger volumes. Those will change. I've let these steep enough at this point that I'm going to pour them off. I poured the Ban Yen here first. I've added water to it first, so I'm going to pour it off first. Angle my lid over to the side. Now I'm using different cups today, so you're not pouring into a clear glass pitcher. You won't be able to see the liquor today. I'm not going to go into as much, just to limit the time here, not drag this out too long. I'm going to shave off a little bit of aspect here and there, and just kind of talk a little bit about the two here. They are both, as far as their plucking style, two leaves in a bud. So let's kind of compare the two here just by smell. Roasty character there. Lighter roasty elements. Now they're waking up a little bit more. Okay, very close, fairly similar so far in roasty notes coming off. My impression is this one here, the Zheng Yen, maybe had a little bit more of a roasty peach type of sweetness there. But I'm going to move and talk about the dry leaf a little bit more, because I'm just kind of looking here at some of my leaves. Hard to tell yet if these are two leaves in a bud, but color-wise, they've got fairly that ochre type of brownish gray going on. Leaves look, for the most part, more than 1 inch in length. Of some portions, though, where leaves got broken. Comparing that over here. The scoops that I took out, these Zhengyan leaves looked larger. And that's the case here. A lot of these leaves look to be more intact, at least this sampling here and what I placed in my Gaiwans here. So perhaps this scoop that I took out, this spoonful here, just a tinge lighter in roasting type of or oxidation type color. Let's go ahead and I'm going to move on now and get to the wet leaf here. I'll start with the banyan here. Fairly strong roasty type notes coming out, not ashtray cigarette type, but heavy on the heat, heavy on the coal type smells. A little easier at first, but it still does have the roasty elements, and maybe underneath that I'm picking up just a tinge more of a faint kind of fruity. Maybe even almost like a wood type sweetness there. We'll look at these leaves together here. Pull out a few of each. Color-wise, these two a little bit more towards an olive green type color coming off of the banyan. Let me see. You can actually see this leaf is attached to the portion of stem, portion of branch that should have been connecting it to another second leaf, and that ideally that bud that was mentioned in the plucking standard. These are unfurling somewhat. Got some elasticity to it, so that's nice. Moving over to the banyan, pulling out one that's similarly furled. Let's see, unfurling this one, it's tearing more, less elasticity to it, just kind of pulls apart there. Felt a bit thicker too. Now I'm going to move on and get into the liquors here. First off, I'm going to go with the Zhengyan here. Okay. Nice texture, kind of powdery, smooth, moving from initially almost faintly powdery to a light kind of creamy type of aspect to it. So that's nice. Looking at the two, the banyan looks darker. A noticeable difference in darkness. Again, not a significant amount. I mean, not just extreme amounts, I should say. But I'm going to go now and talk about the banyan here. Nice coating on this one. Good, almost caramelly, light chocolate type of sweetness there. Sweet, almost like a rose water type of sweet fragrance to it there. This one's got a little bit more, I'm picking up a little more character off of the Zhengyan at this point. Just a tinge of a more, again, fruity aspect. A peach, a little bit of dried fig in there too. Okay, let me go back to this banyan for just a second. All right. Putting these two side by side, if you were doing something like this, this would be a great experience to do, by yourself or with a group of people, and maybe even do it blind, either way, to really look at these two and say, can you pull out differences in these two? Depending on your level of experience, it can be challenging. With these particular teas, I tend to get a tinge more flavor, aroma, nuance in the Zhengyan. I get a little bit more of the texture, the body, the brothy type element in the Zhengyan as well. Flavors on this one, they pick up a little bit more in the back. I mean, they're not they're not present at first as compared to the Zhengyan here. But even so, this one also hits a little bit earlier, but hits stronger also in the back. It is amplified. Again, a lot of teas, especially Chinese teas, when you're tasting and evaluating, a lot of it happens in the back of the mouth, the throat, the aftertaste, the taste that builds up, the textures that continue to hold out. And so far, the Zhengyan is building up more of a more extended aftertaste. Now, you can argue that you want to taste these separately with more time in between, because you could be asking, well, how do you know that your banyan isn't building on and giving aftertaste alongside after you've tasted the Zhengyan? And so both of those are building up aftertaste in your mouth at the same time. Well, you can compensate by spacing them out and then putting them back together. So it's up to you to decide. It's up to each individual person and your level of experience to decide, does your experience of it, your appreciation of it, merit the different price points and purchase there. So come back to Walker Tea Review to explore even those subtleties and those areas of the palate that you want to explore for yourself.